Greetings, technology enthusiasts. I am Chandrahas and I am delighted to be here with you representing CyberBrainer. Do you not believe that the technology sector is advancing at an unprecedented rate, making this an opportune moment to acquire the skills that will facilitate your progress? With CyberBrainer, we are empowering you to take control of your own future. At CyberBrainer, we do not merely impart your interests. We assert that information is power, yet it is the application of knowledge that distinguishes you. Our courses are meant to equip you with essential skills, whether you are pursuing data science, understanding artificial intelligence, or delving into cybersecurity. Let us commence the session and seize the future today. Thank you.
We were discussing that we will be talking about the other allowances plan, right? Like advanced allowances plan, right? Today we will discuss about bonus plan, right? I will come to that budgeting. At this point of time, what I'm going to do is I will break you about each and every plans that we have in place, like bonus plan, merit plan, stock plan and all. Talking about, you asked me, right? Like normally for different departments, you have budget and how to set up that. That is maybe a part of the compensation review cycle. Once I have good with all these plans and everything. Once you understood that, after that I will make sure like how? Because mainly all the plans, allocation budgeting happens separately. Like for stock plan, the budgeting will be different. The budget will be different. For bonus plan, the budget will be different. How it works top down, bottom down. Are you aware of top down, bottom down, anything? The top down, bottom down approach in budgeting. I'm aware of that. That is something which talking about the initiating the compensation review process, the business process involved. That is completely into another topic or another part, right? At that point of time, if when I'm briefing about these items, if you will ask me, I'm not able to explain you. Because for that we have set of time. Today, I will start with the commission plan. Are you aware about commission plan? Commission me? I have never used commissions in my works. Commission, I'm not sure. I have, this is. Maybe commissions are never applicable here in the countries I work here. We'll just give you a brief. I will not get into the depth, but I will just brief you. Talking about commission plan. There are two types. One is amount based. Second one is percentage. This is done mainly for the sales, right? Right, mainly for the sales. Here you can just define. Insight. Any idea like what would be the eligibility rule here? I'm talking about the sales department. It's not always about sales department. In sales department, there are different group of workers that are there and everyone is not. Right? Normally, every time we talk about the eligibility rule, we have to understand the group of workers because once you will be a part of configuration team, right? You not be doing the configuration, but whoever will be the implementation partner, he will be asking you this type of questions, right? Like talking about this commission plan or any other plan, right? Which group of worker is going to be? And they want a distinct one, right? That they can create the criteria accordingly. It's not mandatory that it should be only a job profile. It can be anything. Maybe someone who has started from this date, or you can say like of this cost center, anything. Each and everything can be done, or maybe from this company, or maybe a respective cost center or supervisory organization, anything, right? Any specific location, any specific management level. Each and everything is possible within this eligibility rule. But as a client, I should be aware, like because normally I will be aware, right? But that is by default. Like, what are the group of people? If in case we have random people, that is also possible. But if in case I have a random people like John Mark, like random people, right? We have to create an eligibility rule that will be specific to those people. But there is one issue. Maybe in the future there is an additional maintenance work that will be coming to picture. Let's take an example. I have some random 5 workers. If in case these 5 workers have introduced like only if these 5 workers are there, then they will be eligible for this plan. But these 5 workers may not be consistent for a longer time, right? Maybe in upcoming time some of them will be resigning or some of the new folks will be joining. At that point of time, I have to go and update the eligibility rule manually. That is something which is not ideal. That is the reason with why we follow the standard. We try to find out a common point for all the workers, whether it's a job profile or anything. Right? In the future as well, I do not have to do anything or a manual work, because normally if I talk about Workday, if I am a client, what I would want is I want everything to be automated. I don't have to do much things manually. That's why we always have some templates ready. Design templates on Workday. Correct? Do. Here I will be defining the eligibility rule. Compensation element here. Compensation element can be anything. Normally we can create a compensation element. Talking about this compensation element. Any idea why this compensation element is important or mandatory, or where this is going to link? Distinguish what type of compensation element is. Is it like an allowance or a bonus or a stock or a salary plan? It gives that gives a distinguish between what are the different types of plan available, and it will allocate to that particular compensation element. Right. Apart from that, anything. Maybe it gives us a bifurcation of the pay mix of the employee, like how much percentage the person will be getting. You have any answer? This compensation element is a part which links the compensation element to the payroll. Normally. I guess it's getting loaded. You can see this task. Add composition element. Compensation element. Like it's not always mandatory. Like I will use whatever is there in existing, right? I might have to create something new. I have a question here. I've been dealing with most of those since I use this in my current job, right? We have something called where I deal with managerial code. You have management board members like CFO, CCO and all. For them, we have a different stock apart from the existing leadership stock. Stock plans, right? They have all the different compensation plan, where it is given as a different compensation is like based on the company's overall performance and the individual's overall performance based on the target percentage achieved. That will be multiplied by the particular base salary of there. For example, a CCO is getting 100,000 euro, right? Say, like the different cash element will be say like 50% of the base salary, like 100% will be the variable, where 50% will be converted into stocks of the base. That's 100% will be. The remaining 50% will be given as different compensation pay with multi-year targets. In such case, how to create such compensation element? Because different cash is done not for all the employees, which is only for the leadership and management board. If a company is a public stock company, not a private stock company, how to do that? How to do using the Workday? Well, I think you are discussing about the word compensation plan, right? Because there is a separate plan in advance compensation. At that point of time, we will come to that. Thank you then. Because basically in advanced compensation, if I talk about, if you would ask me like, what are the advanced compensation related plans, right? First one. I lost you for a second. What do you think? What I'm saying is, till now, the commission plan that I'm talking about, this is not an advanced compensation plans. This does not come under the advanced company plan. This is still under the course application one, right? The basic plan that we have, if I talk specifically about advanced compensation, right, there are only few plans that is available. The first one is merit. Second one is bonus and stock. These three are the major one. Apart from that, in advanced competition that comes into picture is future payment plan or deferred bonus plan. This 5 are the main compensation plan that comes in the advanced compensation. Future payment plans are like more like accruals. That's what's right. We'll discuss that one by one. Talking about this commission plan. Here we have an option tool. FAR, what you've taken is like to create a salary plan and allowances. These are all coming only in the core compensation or the advanced. These are very important, right? You have to understand the basic point of view. Then you'll be able to get into the advanced one, right? Because you're aware like about the fee, like what is eligibility rule, what is the composition element, and all those items, right? Then it will become easy because in advanced competition, compensation metrics will come into picture. Right? Even like structural bonus and structural, for example, we have something called outlay analysis, right? where we identify as a total reward specialist. We use to identify an employer who is getting below the comfort ratio. Based on the performance level, we might give something called structural increase, which will be a part of like along with the off cycle or a part of the merit plan. In such cases also that those are all coming under the future payment of advanced plan. Is it like structure to us, right? Like how we want to utilize that. Because in GOGT we have multiple options, right? But how I want to use that is completely up to us. And there is no such major restriction that we have from the GOGT point of view. It is depending on the company or how it wants to use. Got? If in case we want to introduce or we want to add any new competition element, we can add it here. The main reason why we create this competition element is one of the main reason is first of all for segregation. Second thing is like that specific competition item that we are going to use, how that will be linked or how it will distinguish from the payroll part of. I have a question. Whenever you create a name here, right? This is just for our individual one-to-one thing. You can use Rajinside sales. Usually many companies have certain templates as a tagline itself, right? For example, to create a salary plan, they will have default template title, right? Like a nomenclature. No, there is no such thing like that. But normally what we do as a best practice, the name should be such as such. It's such that it should be easily identifiable or understandable by any normal person, right? It should not be such a slogan that if I will give you an example, right? Google have their Workday, right? Normally what they have done is they have changed everything. Even if you talk about this name, right? This name that we're seeing in Google normal form, they have changed even this as well. Like they have this as a Googler. The name is a Google employee kind of thing. Right? There are many things that they have changed. It's up to us, right? There is no standard ones that we follow, but normally whatever we set up, it should be commonly used, right? That anyone can understand, right? That's why in my previous organization, while I was using the success factors in SAP, we usually have a general nomenclature maintained by the total rewards team. For example, say like Benelux, where it addresses Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg, like 3 countries, because they have a similar payroll structures and everything in terms of benefits and all. Right. We usually go with region wise. And if we get like Benelux, I will say like Benelux sales compensation plan, that will be a nomenclature like a common template maintained. I usually can use like such nomenclature if I'm maintaining within my rewards department. Right? We can make such. That's my question. Correct? There is no limitation that we have with anything. Right? Because we keep creating new names. Certain times creating more we might miss out. Usually done or immediately focused templates. Instead of having multiple templates, I want value fixed templates for my entire department for my juniors who will take it over. I can create it like a nomenclature template. And apart from that, if in case we are mentioning anything which is something new in the company and which is not that much common, we have an option of description, right? We can give a detailed description about it. That if in case I am not able to understand it by the name, I will be able to get into the description and I will be able to understand that that's the same. For example, if I'm creating a sales structure, I will say like for group B or group A, I will say like this is the sales compensation structure only for group B of this particular department or with a sub department like a discussion. Correct. Or else, rather than what I will do is, let's take an example in some random name. I can mention let's take an example. This is something which I am talking about like expert, right? Let's take an example. There is a specific department or that I have in a company, right? I can mention that over here that this is the expert level that I'm talking about and it's only for sales, only for that particular department. And apart from that, we can give a one-liner description if we want. And we can also can you tell me? Suddenly it got dropped. I don't know why. Tell me, you were saying something. I was telling, like in case we wanted to create some job catalogs, how we will do job catalogs as a, for example, I need to do some job profiling for a new thing. It is similar like how you create, like create a salary plan or create a great job profile. Kind of, I'll just explore that inside. Can you just go ahead with the add compensation or maintain compensation plan? Add compensation. Something you were teaching us on the add compensation element, right? I can mention the description here, right? I have not talking about this competition element, right? This competition element will be created mainly or else we normally create it. After that, the payroll person who would be, he will be just mentioning all the payroll earning related stuff, right? We will not have to do anything. One element name is done. Right? I will just as a functional consultant from the compensation side, my job is only to create the element, right? The rest of the items related to payroll part, they are going to take it. Even the element description and the parallel earning. No, element description is something that we can mention, right? That's what I wanted. Here, if I'm going to put none of the above. That's one of the things I will keep initially as none of the above. Later on, the payroll person will look into this and he will get up with pay in a bill or period activity pay in a bill. Academy. Pay in a build is mainly for, like, let's take an example. The client is of university related domain or related to education background. They will go with this or else they will go with period activity pay in a, and that will be the description will be us. And these three options are not part of element description. That's one. Right. That's my question. That is the reason why it is coming at none of the above as default. After that, they might create some payroll earning codes or related to this specific element and they will link it. Employee contract. What did you say related to employee contract? Like it is the user, like the payroll team will be determining. That is based on the employee's employee contract. What is the payroll part or type of state? They will look into like a mainly talking about this element. Right. This element is for, let's take an example. This is for bonus. Right. For this, where exactly they want to put that bonus separately for all the workers. That's how they will link. Right. They will not mix up things. There will be a separate earning codes for like normally, as you don't know, right? Like there are separate costs and codes that we have. Right. Similarly, in the payroll side, where exactly they want to link all the compensation, all the bonus related item. They will create multiple different elements for different bonuses, and they will link all of those bonuses at one place. Right. That it becomes easy for reporting or tracking purpose as well from the payroll. Makes sense. Now coming back to this. Here we have an amount that we have to define. In case we have defined any specific amount for any worker, well and good. If not, it will default from here. If in case it does not find any other amount, like I'm talking about commission plan, right? If in case I have not defined any amount, right, or any target value, this is mainly the target value. Let's take an example for the sales. There is a target value, like this is the maximum up to the commission that we can make. Let's take an example, like 10,000. Right. This is where we put in the threshold value or the target value, and we can define this as an annual. Now talking about this draw defaults. Talking about this is for third party commission purpose. Maybe whatever amount or frequency or draw information, draw duration that we put in. Right. This is mainly you. Let's take an example. There is a third party company, a third party worker where we are making them eligible for some commission. we can mention a respective amount. Like let's take an example of 500 or 500, 5000, 2000, any respective amount. We can mention the draw frequency, like how many times normally they can draw, like hourly or monthly. Let's take an example of at one time minimum 2000 they should accumulate. Then only they can withdraw it. Right. That is something that defaulting that we do. Let's take an example. You are eligible to make a commission up to 10,000, but you did some sales and you achieved up to 100 or 500. That is something that you cannot withdraw, right? Until or unless you achieve at least the minimum amount. Let's take an example. The draw amount that I set up, it's 2000. Once I am eligible for this 2000, right? It depending upon the sales I will become eligible for. Withdrawing the specific amount. This is how I set up, and maximum up to 10,000 can be done. If in case we have multiple, right? Like we have seen in other different like allowances plan. If in case we have multiple different scenarios or different eligibility rules, one is for inside sales or one is for other group of salespeople, right? Or maybe for different people. There will be different amount. We can add on here. We will just remove this amounts from here and we will add it over here. Normally in that scenario, what I will do is I will keep the frequency there. I will remove these amounts. And the same thing for multiple countries. I am going to add on here, like for example, the amount that was supposed to be added in, I can add it. Like for example, 10,000 draw amount is set up for 2000. Like let's take an example for USD. I will set up the eligibility rule. Let's take an example. I will create an eligibility rule for inside sales, right? Maybe for another job profile like a sales manager, I have it to the 20,000, wherein they have a limit of 5,000 drawable amount. Right? Currency is going to be same for multiple scenarios. I do not have to create multiple commission plan within one commission plan. I can define multiple. I'm not saving this. Now let's discuss and talk about advanced commission plan. This all are that we had mainly for the normal or PO one. Now we'll look into the bonus plan. Talking about bonus plan, what is the bonus plan? A bonus plan. And the payment that is made to the employee depending upon their short-term performance or long-term performance. It completely depends upon them, right? Talking about creating bonus plan. The task, if you see here, the task and everything remains same. There is nothing major difference with respect to the task name that I'm searching. This is one of the reasons why we say, like talking about the UI, it becomes easy for any new person, like how things can be set up or how things can be done. Now talking about bonus plan, right? For example, if I'm doing for 100 and say like 5,000 employees, it is only based on the job profile and the employees department. It will auto the system based on the overall headcount. It will auto bifurcate. I need not put anything other than eligibility rules. No, nothing. Whichever worker will come within that eligibility rule will automatically. They will automatically get. We do not have to do anything. When it comes to say, like my question is, most of the short term and long term incentive plan is interconnected with their performance levels, right? Most of the short-term and long-term incentive plans are based on employees and companies' performance level. It is auto-tied. It is not like as transparent as a salary plan. The thing is, like, in case we have a simulation rate, like performance simulation and Workday, where the others say, like if an employee is getting 5 rating scale, which is the highest and 1 as a low based on the employee's individual rating given by their managers, right? The internal simulated percentage of 3% of merit on top of the base salary as their bonus or incentive, auto-computed by the Workday based on the eligibility rules given by the HRBP. When it comes to bonus plan, if I create a short-term incentive plan or neither, like a long-term incentive plan, my question is how you link that, as do we also link their performance rating as one of the eligibility plans? Like the eligibility rule, right? Correct. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.